Rimuru has at least 5 girls who likes him, while Benimaru, despite having his own harem, chose to stay with only 2 of them, and Souei, who wins over everyone, also decided to love just 1 girl. Gabiru and Gobita also got themselves girlfriends, and perhaps that's the most surprising thing. In Tensura, many couples were formed through the light novel volumes, while several ships were born with the fandom itself in people's mind. Today I'm going to tell you about the best and most popular couples in Tensura, because I love this anime just like you, and I try to bring the best videos I can make for my viewers. So don't waste time and join the great community to get the best of the otaku world. Sophia agreed to date Gabiru in the volume 20 of the light novel. Gabiru seemed to have interest in Sophia for a while, getting to know her throughout the time she came to Tempest and interacted with everyone there. Thus, in volume 20, she agreed to date Gabiru if he could defeat his opponent in the ongoing battles that was happening, and he managed to do it. Therefore, Gabiru and Sophia are officially a couple in Tensura, and Alvis became a window to marry Benimaru. As we know, she and Momiji competed for Benimaru's love to marry him and all of that. But in Tempest, there are laws that make it a monogamous country, meaning only 1 woman for the rest of his life. However, there is a certain law where as long as the second woman is a widow, someone can indeed have 2 wives. So Alvis married Phobio, went to the labyrinth and then killed him to be considered a widow according to Tempest laws, and then she married Benimaru without legal issues for him. And yes, all of this just to get married. She more than deserved to be the first wife, especially considering she's known and liked Benimaru longer than Momiji, but in the end she became the second one. And Gobwa overcome Benimaru and married Phobio. Phobio, who married Alvis only to be killed so she could marry Benimaru, was left by the wayside with nothing but a broken and wounded heart. Thus, Gobwa, who was forcing herself to get over her love of Benimaru, who already has wives, ended up developing feelings for Phobio as they drank together to forget their sorrows. And so the 2 of them ended up becoming lovers after being left behind by their former loves. And Momiji managed to become Benimaru's first wife. As we know, although the marriage proposal came from her mother, Momiji was not against the idea and even grew to like it. After all, Benimaru is strong and handsome, a hard find. So she and Alvis entered the big competition to see who would become Benimaru's wife, and Momiji successfully won the title of the first wife, although I think she not deserve it. And Souei confessed to Benimaru that he loves Souka. It's no secret that Souka admires and has a deeply loved for Souei, and this is for a long time. But in Tensura Nikki, Slime Diaries, Souei confessed to Benimaru in a conversation that he is in love with Souka, and meanwhile Souka also confessed to the other girls she loves Souei, and although they are not officially together yet, they will probably end up together since they both love each other. And Valgrind got married twice. Valgrind was the wife and partner of Rudra since ancient times and was willing to do anything for her beloved for a long time, but we know that Rudra was lost and corrupted, and because of that, Masayuki, his uncorrupted version, can exist at the same time, and being the one who facilitated Masayuki's journey to the central world, Valgrind also ended up becoming Masayuki's partner and wife, staying with her beloved even after his reincarnation. So one thing we can say is that she really loves Masayuki and Rudra. And is Hakuro married to Kaede? So I saw in a video that some people consider Kaede and Hakuro marriage, while many don't see it as a marriage, at most just a hot night they spent together. Well, to this day, Kaede continues to consider Hakuro her loved and the man of her life, while Hakuro never had another woman and fondly remembers Kaede and the relationship that they had. And my verdict is that they are a couple, but not married. They simply live their lives apart, but never forgot about each one. They are like a couple who got separated. Now, Gopta managed to get a girlfriend. It's time for you to meet Esprit, a demon count who is one of Kahera's closest subordinates, being one of her 2 lieutenants and personal assistants. Besides being an extremely powerful demon, she is very playful and likes to annoy the others. In volume 20 of the light novel, God Gobita, after being being flirted with a bit by Esprit, says that after the battle that was happening, they would start dating, and she said she was ready for it and agreed to. Thus, Gobita starts dating Esprit, the demon count. And yes, God Gobita has a date. Now, Yom and Mulan is one of the best couples in Tensura for sure. Yom put himself in danger, standing up against a furious Benimaru just to prevent him from doing anything to Mulan out of her love. And Mulan will gradually fall in love with the foolish Yom after spending a long time with him is also cute. And although their relationship started controversially and a lot of tumultuous, they are a beautiful couple who made their mark in Tensura's history. And of course we can't forget about Veldanava and Lucia, Milin's parents and a great couple in this world, even though they had a not so happy ending due to the cruel era they lived in the past. Consisting of a princess and the god of this world, it is impossible not to talk about them, and of course they had the best daughter they can, Milin, and just for it they are one of the best couples without doubts. Now, Ciel is the other half of Rimuru. Although Ciel doesn't have a body of her own, and it is not kind of a person on her own, Ciel is basically a unique and distinct character. Being born from Raphael's skill, the will that emerged from the skill and Rimuru's magicus when he named his own skill, Ciel is a Manas with her own will and core in Rimuru's soul. Ciel is Rimuru's great partner, and it is not an exaggeration to say that she controls him in many ways, and a lot of aspects too. They are inseparable partners, and there's no doubt that she deserves to be among the best couples in Tensura, even if they are not romantic lovers. Now, Carrion and Frey have a fling and you didn't even know, or maybe you know. It's confirmed that Carrion feels attraction and a more romantic interest in Frey, wanting to have a fling with her, that little romance that everyone deserves. And Frey feels the same, she was more than willing to have something special with Carrion, but they didn't end up together, because Frey wasn't sure if the relationship would survive the clash of their cultures. Since the way people perceive romantic relationships is different, she wasn't sure if they would last longer. Now, let's talk about some of the couples that aren't official, but the fans love. And of course, it is all headcanon. Luminous has a crush on Hinata. Hinata is Luminous' right hand, and the vampire is very close to her, being very concerned about losing Hinata in some way as well. And beyond that, Luminous felt attracted to Hinata and has even told to herself how grateful she was to be able to see Hinata's naked body in some situations where they bet together. And yes people, Luminous likes Hinata a lot. Now, Chloe is the one with the best chances to win Rimuru's heart. Chloe as someone who loves Rimuru and openly says it to him, and to anyone who asks, is one of the main heroines of the history. Additionally, there is the fact that she is the girl destined for Rimuru, as the elf predicted that in the Crystal Ball. We also have their entire history, and of course connections, like how he saved her and how Chronoa kissed him at the Dawn of Spirits. And although it is a ship, Chloe is a pretty strong candidate. Now, Guy and Velzard are a popular ship in Tensura community. In the world game that Guy and Rudra played, Velzard became Guy's game partner, spending a lot of time with him, becoming his friend and companion, and well, a lot of people ship them, and I don't judge, things they match in a strange way. And if Chloe sleep it up, Luminous will take her. Luminous sees Chloe as a savior and a great friend, having a lot of respect for her as well. And of course, she is attracted for Chloe. In the manga and anime, we can see several scenes of Luminous rubbing herself naked against the ice coffin where Chloe was trapped, and even though she hurt and burned herself in the process, she not care about it. After all, she really loves Chloe in very many ways. Now, Shuna and Rimuru are one of the biggest ships in the fandom. After all, Shuna has always been close to Rimuru since her arrival in Tempest, and she even argues and competes with Shion over who will stay with their master. And speaking of Shion, as Shuna's rival and direct competitor, Shion is one of the biggest Rimuru ships in the entire series, being probably the favorite of the fans. After all, Shion is Shion, she literally takes over everything. Now, even though Luminous Luminous has already shown herself to be a lesbian, there are those who ship her with Veldora, saying they would make a beautiful couple and being the concrete proof that opposites attract. And in some strange way, I have to nod as well, because they kind of match together. Now, Ramirez getting together with Veldora is also one of the fandom's strongest ships, and surprisingly, it wouldn't be too strange aside from the size difference between them. But here is the thing, if Ramirez enters her adult form or Veldora managed to adjust his body mass, their ship is totally valid. After all, both of them are manga lovers, playful and definitely get along well. It wouldn't be a bad surprise if something developed between them. Now, Rigor and Lilina getting together makes lot of sense. Rigor as a Tempest officer since the early days of the city, and Lilina as an officer since her arrival in Tempest, have shared a lot of time together. They have been colleagues for a long time and are from similar generations. They are totally shippable and make a lot of sense they being together. And if not Lilina, then at least with Haruna. Haruna would make a lot of sense too. Kenya and Alice are kind of a ship too, and I can understand where it comes from. Both of them are from Earth, they grew together and you could create a nice chemistry between them, but only time will tell about it. After all, Ryota and Gale are also around for them. And lastly we have Carrera, Ultima and Testarossa, who are also ships with Rimuru. In this case, each of them has kind of their own ship with him, but I grouped them together to make it easier to talk about this. The three of them made solemn vows of loyalty to Rimuru and will serve him for all eternity, while they compete with each other to see who gets more attention from Rimuru. And I was told that in one of Tensura's spin-offs manga, all the three of them say they like Rimuru romantically, and that is where the ships come from. And saying that Rimuru has many satyrs, in this video you can see 13 insane facts about him that I brought to you, so don't waste time and watch it because it is very good. Now, bye bye.